People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much each and every time for tuning back into my stuff. Now, as you know, on Sunday, Arsenal welcome Crystal Palace to the Emirates. Now, this is a fixture where we kind of need to win for obvious reasons. If it's 5th versus 6th, I believe we're on 15 points, they're on 14. They can overtake us in our position. Obviously, we want to get top 4. We need to get back to winning ways. On the road, away from home, it's been woeful, and that woeful form continued, obviously, in a disappointing night on Monday. It's happened. We got out of jail in the Europa League, but considering we've got 3 games in a week, and it's, for me, if I'm looking at the side before that game, or if I'm a member of that side before that game, I'm seeing how on it mentally people are, because we're now approaching one of the toughest periods of the season, from October, early November, all the way to the beginning of January. We need to come out of that with a respectable points return, people. And that's only going to happen if we get back to winning ways and everyone stops feeling sorry for themselves. Now, Palace have the opportunity of doing back-to-back wins, consecutive wins at home against us. Last season, they took 4 points against us. So, potentially, Emery's number is being worked by Roy Hodgson, and they know how to play Arsenal. Obviously, we all remember the game at the Emirates last season, because of the period it was in, must-win sort of thing, and the manner of the goals we conceded. I remember MacArthur scoring a poor goal. Zaha, it weren't a poor goal on Zaha's behalf, but balls over the top. Win your first and second balls, and then Zaha scoring. Obviously, a free kick led to a dead piece situation. Unable to mark Benteke. Benteke scored. Benteke will probably morph into this world-class player in this game as well, people. Really and truly. We all know this game is obviously going to be heavily dominated with Wilfried Zaha. I mean, just Zaha, Arsenal and Palace alone, you can write several stories in which the media will in the run-up to this game. His well-documented desire to leave Palace to the point where he was going to go Everton. Distraught about not being able to move to his boyhood club. Wanted this move, allegedly down tools of such, transfer requests and the rest of it. Personally, I think he'll go Chelsea in January or the end of the season, but it's in his prerogative to play well today. Now, I think Zaha hasn't been poor this season, but obviously he hasn't been firing. But these are the games, all form goes out the window, and these are the games people like Zaha are going to be up for. We've signed Pepe. Pepe came off the bench and scored 2 in the Europa League, free kicks. Obviously Zaha likes Pepe and their teammates and stuff, but Zaha wants to leave. Arsenal officials thinking, what were you thinking not going the extra mile to sign me? Do you get it? Maybe you want to come back in for me. Maybe there's other clubs looking at me. I'm still Zaha, I've got it. I know people are looking at his form and saying it's because he doesn't want to be there. And of course, naturally, subconsciously, if you don't want to be at a club, your form is going to dip. And I just think he's going through a bit of poor form at the moment. But at the same time, it's in his best interest to put in good performances so that people are still interested a year from then and whatnot. If he doesn't want to be there, he doesn't want to be there. Obviously, I focus heavily on Zaha, but they've got good threats. I mean, Ayew up front is a hustler and is the sort of guy to get something at Arsenal. Obviously, they got Van Aanholt, very attacking fullback. Obviously for different reasons, but I think their midfield deserves a lot of praise. I feel MacArthur, Canute when he plays, and Milivojevic, they work very hard, they're very experienced, they game management, gamesmanship, all of these sort of things is what they do. Similar to against City, obviously I do think it will be different, but I think defensively Palace will be 2 banks of 4, very rigid and narrow to break down sort of thing. Like you're seeing in this, typically they've gone with a 4-5-1 this season. Now Zaha's gonna play off the right or the left, people. But what that means is if this is Ayew, Zaha is obviously gonna get up there to join him and do the attacking sort of things, and it's gonna become a 4-man midfield. Or Zaha's gonna be a half sort of thing. So it's gonna be a 4-man midfield. They're gonna narrow. And they're going to be tough to break down, people. There's 2 banks of 4. Do you get it? You've got their striker and Zaha pressing from the front, which for me, if it's Ayew and Zaha, that's decent. Because Ayew's fairly mobile, he's fairly strong. He's a sort of defender that striker that Arsenal have problems against. He's proactive, he doesn't give you a yard. Don't look at ability, look at what they do. And he'll work the channels and chase lost causes. So how we're looking at half turns and who's on the half turn is dangerous. Obviously, you want to give Zaha the freedom to run at us, to get the ball wherever he wants. And to be honest, you don't really, games like this, you don't want, because Zaha is the danger, man. You don't really want him fixated in one position. So I think behind the striker, obviously coming off of the right or the left in real time, would suit him to obviously dribble, get at us and whatnot, and bring his other players into the game. Because if Zaha picks it up here and starts dribbling, and we start ball watching, people, we start ball watching like you typically see, Van Aanholt's going to bang down here. There's runs to be said. So our movement, or in fact how we counter the defensive movement of Palace is going to be very important, people. I can't state it I really can't state it enough. So I'm looking at Zaha obviously to make the difference. The free man, in fact, it becomes almost a flat free midfield. I think they're going to work very hard, like I've said. We know what we're going to get. We know set pieces they look to exploit us. Now, I think they will be on point defensively, as you would against this Arsenal side. Whatever all the question marks have said, we've got some technical based players. Our play is very slow and very in front of the opposition. So that's going to help Palace to obviously get back into position. There's no point, like, I don't need to show you the example, because how many times have I showed you it? But I do think the one difference between us and City is, on top of the golfing teams, I think is because people obviously want to have more of a go against Arsenal. They will be slightly more attacking because they know there's question marks over this Arsenal players in the squad. They know we've got more to lose. In fact, as well as our form's been, if we lose, the headlines with Emery out and all of these things, they know that we're kind of frail defensively and we give opportunities. So for me, if I'm Roy Hodgson and these people there, I'm trying to exploit that, people, and you best believe they're gonna do exactly that, people. And I must admit, Tierney, excluding yesterday, Tierney's looked relatively sharp when he's played. But yesterday, he wasn't backed up against, let's just say this is Martinez. He was caught in 2v1s, people. He was getting 2v1'd against, and there's nothing you can do. If your winger is not helping you out there's nothing you can do, people. You're just going to get destroyed. But why I can kind of see why potentially he's not playing in the side, people, beyond just as a fan, because he might not be fully sharp. You obviously saw him pull up with cramps, so I don't think he'll be involved. But fullback is a dangerous area. I'm not going to lie to you lot, people. I wouldn't personally play Bellerin because I don't feel Bellerin's ready. I think he's not ready, people. And obviously, if we just make it a free to highlight the point, let's just say Townsend if fit, Zaha, Ayew, just because these players are fairly direct. If your fullbacks or they're not fully fit and whatnot and they're a bit rusty, do you really want them people that are 2v1 specialist, people that are going to continuously take them on? Or their fullbacks? I don't know how much Ward joins in, but let's just say Ward gets to the halfway line. Do you really want that? It's not the wisest. And the right back position don't really give me confidence because I've got faith in Chambers. He's done his thing this season, but he's not a right back by trade. You see it, he gets up and down, but similar to against Daniel James, him versus, I don't know, Zaha decides to start from the left or the coaching staff decide that. You can see how it's a bit of a negative story, really, isn't it, people? So, if Tierney is fit, he had a cramp injury, so I don't think he'll play. But I would go with Tierney over Kolasinac. I definitely wouldn't play Bellerin. I just don't feel Bellerin's there. It's not really a case to make Martinelli not to be in the side as well, people, really and truly. Don't know why I'm doing that, but I guess the last thing is my lineup, people, from an Arsenal perspective. Now, obviously, Leno picks himself. I'm going to go Socrates and Luiz. I don't feel Holding looks necessarily ready based on yesterday as well. So I'm going to go Socrates and Luiz, despite my love for Holding, and I put him in every game. I'm still going to go with Tierney at left back over Kolasinac. I'm going to go with Chambers at right back, people. In midfield, personally, we all know Xhaka is going to play in several things, but I would be looking at Torreira and Guendouzi. I would actually play Mesut Ozil or Ceballos in that role. I'd actually lean with Mesut Ozil. Or potentially, people, Guendouzi doesn't really deserve to be dropped, but you could go Mateo, Ceballos and Mesut Ozil, but then there's a lack of industrialness in there. So I think it should be Torreira, Guendouzi. I'd go with Mesut Ozil or Ceballos, so I'm going to just say Ozil. Because I think, yeah, man, we need to get some final balls in there and whatnot. But I'll go with that. Hopefully, Pepe, off the back of them two lovely taken free kicks in Europa, is ready to make the difference. So I'm going to go with Aubameyang, Lacazette and Pepe. They picked themselves there, man. I mean, Saka, I wouldn't have no problems with Saka starting. Saka deserves to start. He's had one sort of meh game for as good as he's been for us, and that's more consistent than some players have been. There's not really a case to leave Martinelli out. There's a I know Martinelli started from the left in midweek, but there's a potential to be said for Martinelli up front. I don't agree with it, but Martinelli up front, move Aubameyang out there, have Pepe and someone behind them. Or you just go Lacazette. You could go Lacazette. Not Lacazette, Aubameyang and Guendouzi, and then have Pepe or whatnot. But these are the problems we needed, people. But my team would probably be Pepe, Lacazette and Aubameyang, Ozil behind them, Torreira and Guendouzi in a pivot, because it's going to be a fight in that midfield, and I think them two are the most on snapping at heels and whatnot. Ozil for Ceballos, I don't have a problem. We need some creativity there. Right back and left back is my concerns. If Tierney's fit and he's over that cramp injury, then he plays for me. But I can see why, and Kolasinac probably should start. Chambers, as concerning as it could be, playing against these direct 1v1 specialists of sorts, will get the nod. I think after this game week is when I really look to bring Holding back in, but based on Thursday, I don't think he's ready to play in this sort of game. So I'm going to go with Socrates and Luiz. Not like they've been amazing this season, but in the last couple of game weeks, they've been okay, excluding Sheffield United, which, yeah, we were just poor as a team. But in relation to my preview, that's it, people. We've lost 2 of the last 5 meetings, beat them, more than we have in the first 33, where we won 22 and drew 9, losing only 2. We need to get back to winning ways, people. Palace are chasing back-to-back away Premier League wins in London derbies for the first time since 1997. You've also got Palace trying to beat us back-to-back in the Premier League. So we need to fix up against these things and not allow them to happen, really and truly. We got away with it in the Europa, but the performance weren't there. Yes, we made 10 changes. Sheffield, it weren't there. Palace try and end the week with a high, people, because the fixtures are only going to pile up quicker and quicker now. But for now, people, deluded. I'm out. Hopefully we get the result we're all craving. Bang.